Science and Technology, Grade 4, Animals. Now, in Grade 4, the only part that we are supposed to handle in Grade 4 is what we call characteristics of animals. That is what the syllabus wants us to cover in Grade 4, and therefore that is the only area we are going to handle specifically for Grade 4. Otherwise, a Grade 5, a Grade 6 can as well benefit from this video, because for them anything they can be asked from Grade 4. So we are going to talk about characteristics of animals as living things. So remember, when we talk about living things, we are talking about both plants and animals. So under the same strand, living things and their environment, the first thing that they did was characteristics of plants. Now, after characteristics of plants, we move to characteristics of animals. Now, under this substrand of characteristics of animals, first of all, we have to define what is characteristics so that they understand it better. Now, characteristics simply means the behavior, how these animals behave in various different ways or in different places or conditions. So when we talk about characteristics of animals, these are behaviors. How do these animals behave? How do they relate to each other? How do they adapt to the environment? Things like that. So these are what we call characteristics of animals. And therefore, we are going to start right away with the first characteristics. Now, the first characteristics that all animals must do is all animals feed. That is number one characteristics. Animals feed. So the word feeding means they need food, and therefore we can say all animals eat. Though we have different animals eating different types of foods. We have the animals that eat vegetations like the grass, the leaves, and all that. We have some animals that for them they don't eat vegetations, they eat meat. So different animals eat different types of food depending on the type of that animal. So that is the first characteristic, that for the animals to live, all animals need to feed. So that feeding means both food and water. So without food and without water, animals cannot survive. So the first important characteristics of animals is that all animals feed. So when we talk about feeding, we talk about eating. So they eat. Characteristic number two, all animals grow. All animals grow. So growth here we mean increase. By growth we mean increase in height and also weight. So this is what somebody is growing. So when an animal gives rise to a young one, it starts at a very small thing or a very small organism. Then with the time, it becomes big. So it is increasing in size, it is increasing in weight, it is increasing in height. So that is what we call growth. So that is for all animals. All animals grow. So when we talk about growth, we talk about increase in both size, weight, and height. That is the second characteristics. The third characteristics of animals is that all animals breathe. All animals breathe. So breathing here we mean taking in air through your nose and giving out another air through the same nose. So all animals breathe in oxygen. So we take in oxygen that makes us to survive. So taking in oxygen and breathing another air out, which is called carbon dioxide, that is what is called breathing. So you take in air through the nose and you give it out again through the nose. So that air in and out of the body through the nose is what we call breathing. That is also done by all animals. And we are using oxygen. So we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. So that is the third characteristics of animals. The fourth one is that all animals reproduce. All animals reproduce. Now, this word has really been disturbing the grade fours, because you ask them, give me a characteristics of animal, then they will say, all animals give birth. Now, we don't encourage the word give birth, because not all animals give birth. There are a group of animals that give birth. There are another group that lays eggs. Then there are these male species, the male species that does not give birth or does not lay eggs. So when we talk about, when we want to talk about giving rise to a new live young one, we don't talk about giving birth. So we discourage the word giving birth, because giving birth is for specific group of animals. So the common word for all the animals, we say that they reproduce. So that reproduction now means they give rise to young one, though they have now different methods. Some will give birth to a young one, another one will lay eggs. By the end of the day, all those activities are called reproduction. So we say all animals reproduce. Number 5, we talk about all animals remove waste. All animals remove waste. All animals remove waste. Now, this one also has been a problem with some learners, because they only know that the only waste they know is when you go to the toilet and you remove feces. That is what they know, the stool. Waste means anything that is in the body that has been used and it is no longer needed. So there are very many types of waste. One of the waste is the stool. Yes, you go to the toilet, then you relieve yourself there. So you leave the stool. So stool is one of the waste. Another example of a waste is the urine. So you go to the toilet to pee. That is also a waste. Another waste is the sweat in our body. When we sweat, that means our body has excess water. So you sweat to remove that excess water from the body. That is also a waste. The carbon dioxide that we are breathing out, that air that we are breathing out, it is also a waste, because it has been used in the body and therefore the body no longer needs it. So it comes out through the nose. So those are different types of waste. So when we talk about removing waste, it's not just a matter of going to the toilet and you remove the stool. No, those stool is one of them, but there are quite a number of waste. So we have the stool, we have the sweat, we have the carbon dioxide, and again we have the urine. All those are called waste, as a common characteristics of all animals. Another characteristics of animals is that all animals move. All animals move. So animals move from one place to another for different reasons. So when they were grade 4s, we are talking about characteristics of plants. Now this is the only difference between, because remember, plants are also living things, just the way animals are living things. So almost all these characteristics are also found in plants. But when it comes to this movement, plants move part of their body, not the whole body. But animals move the whole body. So when you see a plant growing, sometimes the wind might move some branches of the leaves, or the root responds, grows towards water sources. Remember, the root is underground, so it moves looking for water and searching for mineral source. So that is also movement, but they only move part of their bodies, not the whole body. That is for the plant. But for the animal, we move, the whole body moves. So both of them, we talk about movement. So animals move from one place to another with the whole body, not part. So the part of the body is for the plants. That is also another characteristics of animals. All animals move. You can also give some few reasons why animals move from one place to another. So there was a day I asked my learners, why do you think animals move from one place to another? So some were saying, they are looking for they are touring new areas. Animals are not interested in the beauty of a place, or what animals need is food and water and a safe place. So these animals will move, one, to look for food. So if there is no food this side, the animals will migrate from that point to another. So that will cause movement. Another one is water. In search of water, animals need water for them to survive. Where there is no water, they can't survive. So they will move from one place to another looking for water. Another reason why animals move is to escape danger. When they realize that their lives are in danger, they will move from that place to another. So those are some few reasons why animals move from one place to another, though there are many. Another characteristics of animals here is that animals react to change. They react to changes in the environment. Changes in the environment. Now, this one means if the environment becomes hostile, if the environment becomes unfavorable, not good for this animal, that animal will have to react. By reacting, it can decide to go away or adopt a way of surviving in that environment. A good example is when the weather is too hot. When the weather is too hot and the animals are grazing around, you will see some of them leaving the sun and moving towards the shade, either under a tree or under a building. That means this animal is reacting to that because there is a change in the environment. The temperature has risen. So the temperature has become so high and therefore it is hot. So they are not enjoying that environment. So this animal is forced to change, to react to that change. So the animal will react by moving away from the hot sun to the shade, either under a tree or under a building, so that it can get a favorable temperature or favorable condition. That is one of the ways of which these animals react to changes. Some animals, an animal like a millipede, if you touch it, it coils itself. That is reacting to change. There is a change in the environment and therefore it must react for it to protect itself. An animal like maybe the snail or the tortoise, when there's danger in the environment, they have to react by hiding in the shell. So they will hide in the shell, stay there for some few hours, then come back again. If they see that there is still danger, they go back. So those type of activities is what we call reacting to changes in the environment. The rain is coming. That one you have even seen human beings. We are also animals, by the way. So when we talk about these things, even for us, we are doing them. The rain is coming. By the time the rain is coming, you see everybody running, helter skelter, everybody running from one point to another. We are responding to that change. The weather has changed. And therefore, if we don't react to that change, we are not going to find ourselves on the safe side. So that is called reacting to changes in the environment. Anything that happens or wants to happen within your surrounding, and you are not very comfortable, you have to react. If you don't, then you'll have to face the consequences. So those are ways of reacting to changes in the environment. Then the last characteristics of these animals is that all animals die. All animals die. Anything called a living thing, this one includes both plants and animals. Anything that breathes, anything that is living, by the end of the day, it must die. So this one is the last stage of the characteristics of all these animals. So by the end of the day, after being born, then you grow, then you do all the activities. By the end of the day, you will come back to the eighth characteristic, that is death. So there is no animal that remains alive forever. That brings us to the end of the characteristics of animals. Then the only thing that this grade force can also know about animals is that we have animals that are called vertebrates and invertebrates. They are groups of animals. So animals have been grouped into two major groups. Animals is a very big group. When we talk about animals, this is a very big group. There are so many. There are small animals, there are big animals, there are middle animals. So this is a very big group, and therefore it cannot be just grouped like animals like that. So it was split into two major groups. So one group is called vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals that have backbones. Backbones is this bone that runs from, if you touch behind your neck here, you will feel a bone. So that bone run down like that up to around on your waist here. So it runs straight from the back of your head or the neck up to your waist somewhere here. So all animals that have such bones are called vertebrates. Then there are those animals that are boneless. They don't have those bones. If you look at an animal like a worm or insect, these small animals, the ants, those animals, they don't have bones, so they are called invertebrates. So they don't have a backbone. That bone that runs from their neck to the waist, they don't have it. So such animals are called invertebrates. So when you are asked two groups of animals, we only have vertebrates, that is animals with the backbones, and invertebrates, that means animals without backbones. So those are the two major groups of animals that we are supposed to know in grade 4. Otherwise, I think that is what I was asked to do. And I will always request you, my friends and colleagues and well wishers, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can get as many followers as possible, as many subscribers as possible, so that we can reach a good number of learners. Remember, I told you that this platform, it can be a small platform like this, but you never know, somebody somewhere can benefit a lot from this platform, because we know there are areas in this country, there are areas in our country that are, the resources are very limited. The resources are very, so learners are likely to lack some of this information. So if we can share this information as many as possible, we can help somebody somewhere, and by that sharing, we never know. So I will always ask people to always like the videos and share and share and share and share. Otherwise, thank you for watching.